Hello and welcome. I'm Lauren G, the producer of the Discover Local podcast, made possible with funding from William Morris Big Local. In this series, we discover the stories behind Walthamstow's independent businesses and the incredible people who run them. Join us as we explore their journeys, challenges, and the impact they've had on our community.
Okay, you're in Cycle Mot. We're based in Forest Road, 357 to 359 Forest Road, E17, 5JR. We're a bicycle shop. We do bicycle repairs and services. We sell both second-hand bikes and brand new bikes. We also do e-bike conversions. So if you have a normal bike and you wanted to convert it to a normal bike, to an electric bike, we will convert that with several engines. Bike wasn't necessarily in my life per se. Just went into the bike business in 2018 when I realized the cycle lanes in Walthamstow. And Walthamstow obviously was invested a lot of money into bicycle lanes. And doing a bit of research with other bike shops in the borough, I recognized that no one was actually doing second-hand bikes. And I went into refurbishing bikes because you have a lot of people that buy bikes for certain reasons, and then all of a sudden they just have them in the shed or in the back garden, you know. So, and then we started having adverts. You can refurbish your bikes here, sourcing out bikes from local storage units, getting bikes from the police auctions, and then refurbishing them and then selling them on. And then people can actually come in and do what we call a swap. So you part exchange with what we've got, and we take yours and then refurbish it and sell it back again. Yeah.
It sounds like you get your bikes from a lot of very interesting places. What would you say is the wildest or the craziest story that somebody has told you about a bike that they've brought into the shop?
We've got a customer that inherited a bike from the granddad. That's, yeah. It's quite an old bike, probably from the 60s. Yes, and they've brought it in, and then we've refurbished the bike for them. Yeah, so stripped the whole thing up, cleaned it, and replaced parts. We try to keep all the parts on the bike original as much as possible. Yeah, and just brought it back to life.
What could you tell us about your relationship with the Walthamstow local community and the role that your business plays in that?
Since 2018, when I started the business, obviously getting into the cycle business, I never had a history in regards to working in a bike shop before or being a mechanic. So it's everything I've learned is hands-on. So yeah, just learning on the job. And that's how I've grown the business. And I remember in 2018 when I started, we had customers coming in and, being excited, obviously, a lot of them knowing I was a female that owned the bike shop, so it was something rare. They've never seen that before, or most bike shops in the community were probably male owners. And with this, you build relationships with people, a lot of people as well in regards to my background, Black heritage. People you have the strong bond with them. They come to you and they speak to you and, in plain language, because sometimes you go into bike shops and they have so many terminology where people get confused and they're like, oh, it's a man's thing, and they don't want to sort of like go into a bike shop and speak to mechanics. But what, apart from me being female in the industry and a black person as well, what has happened is people are able to sort of like, have that relationship with you. You're able to sort of like explain things to them in plain language, really simple way, then they understand. And, just from there, we used to do things like free checkups for the community. People coming with the free checkups. We had a free pump outside, even before COVID. When I started the business, I had like a free pump outside. People would come in during the day, all through the night, using the pump, going to work. People who did delivery would come in. That was like in the first shop, which we owned in Forest Road, 400 Forest Road. That was actually where I started the business from.
What, if any, changes have you seen over since 2018 with the Walthamstow local community in regards to like biking?
Obviously, with COVID happening, we've had an increase in a lot of people riding bikes, commuting to work on bikes as well. You also had the price increase in petrol, and that's also affected a lot of people. And then you've got the cargo bikes. Yeah, the big cargo bikes where, people use to sort of like do school runs. We never used to do them. And because we've had, a lot of inquiries and people coming in and asking us questions, so we've sort of like gone into it, bought a couple, done services and repairs on it. And the business has just increased from there. Yeah, and then we sort of like specialize now in fixing cargo bikes. Yeah, so there's just been an increase in different sectors of the cycling industry.
What advice would you give the you from 2018 before starting this business?
More research. A bit more research, and obviously learning on the job. To be honest, it's on some aspect it's been sort of like a try and error thing. Yeah, and I think for anyone that wants to get into the cycling industry, or either you're a mechanic or you want to open a bike shop or anything, it's always good to do a lot of research, and see where you fit in. Because some people would say they want to be a bike mechanic and a business owner. They are two massive things, So you're a bike mechanic, I'm not saying you can't do both, you can, but there's a lot of work. So it's just like me, I really wanted to learn the trade, and see, sometimes help the guys hands-on, but with what I've been doing so far, it's not been possible for me. Yeah, but it's, obviously I've done sort of like the electrical aspect of it. And I've become a certified engineer in a couple of electrical engines, but the mechanical part where in the workshop you do the services and repairs, things like that, I've not been able to, because I've been sort of like dragged into more to do with the administration. Yes.
Thank you for tuning in to the Discover Local podcast, brought to you by William Morris Big Local. We hope you've enjoyed getting to know the inspiring entrepreneurs in our community. To learn more and support these businesses, visit us at www.wmbiglocal.org. Keep discovering local and stay connected. Recording, editing and sound design by Nello, with music by Josette Joseph.